everyone. Welcome to the Quick and Mobile channel. We are doing a mobility device review because one of our viewers on our YouTube channel has requested that we review a device that we currently don't have on Quick and Mobile, and that's something we're certainly happy to do. So the electric stand-up medical walker with seat, physical therapy equipment, walking assistant exercise rehabilitation device, adjustable height, FSA, HSA eligible, 13-mile long travel range withstands 260 pounds is what I'm guessing they're meaning by that. So with this device, the first thing that I'm going to do if I look for something on Amazon, for example, and before I really get into it, this person, one of the things that they really were interested in was the joystick itself. Okay, the joystick. Does that joystick have the ability, if somebody is a paraplegic or quadriplegic and they don't have a lot of finger dexterity, would they be able to operate the joystick or press the up and down buttons? So that's a very valid question, and I've got a couple other windows open that we'll get into as far as that goes, but let's just take a look at the actual device first, and we're just going to kind of base this off the pictures that I see on Amazon here. Looks like you've got a battery pack mounted to the back of the device. It looks like you've got probably about 8-inch, 9-inch rear wheels. It looks like you've got the hub motors. I'm going to assume with that price tag of $6,000, they're most likely brushless electromagnetic motors, and you kind of see on the sides, it looks like you have a couple articulators, and it looks like you have the area above to basically have a harness. So let's take a look at a couple of the pictures first to just kind of get an idea of really what this is. So it's something that helps with rehabilitation training, something that can reduce chronic wheelchair use, long-term bed rest, etc. So you can see that you've got a lot of different options with this particular device here. And I think that what would be so appealing for somebody that would have either quadriplegia condition or paraplegia condition where they might have a very small amount of use and utility with their legs, that you don't have to just be sitting down, that you can actually be standing up, and that you can be walking, and you can be basically up and down instead of seated. So that's, I understand it, I get it. So let's take a look here at how this looks as an actual chair. So you see that you've got basically a seat belt bracket right on the top. You've got the adjustable arm, which is exactly what I figured. You have the mechanical switch. You kind of see right there, it says mechanical switch. That's just the toggle between having the device be able to go in freewheel or manual or power mode. So you toggle the switch one way and it's a push chair, or the whole device is able to be pushed as long as the power is off, and you toggle it the other way, and you get power, whether it's a power wheelchair or a power standing cage. And of course, I was correct, you have the lithium battery on the back. So that's a 15.4 amperage hour lithium battery, 24 volt. That is not going to be FDA or FAA, I'm sorry, maybe FDA approved, it probably is, but it's not going to be FAA travel compliant. So you would really have to communicate with the airlines about what would you do with this device if you needed to travel with it. So let's take a look here at basically some of the other specs. Total weight, 103 pounds. So the device weighs 103 pounds. It looks like a relatively comfortable wheelchair, and you can see what it looks like as the frame. So if we're looking here, you have the harness, and you can kind of see the front wheels seem like they articulate. And you see on the side of the device here, the actuator. So if we take a look down, it says 20-mile driving range. I don't know if I completely believe that it's going to be 20 miles. I would say probably up to 20 miles in certain temperatures and in certain terrains. But if you were going to take this to an amusement park, you could probably get away with just about a day of use and utility. So I don't think it would be any issue there. But the thing that I want to look at or really kind of point out is that this is going to hold a person that weighs up to 220 pounds. So if you're 225 pounds, you're probably going to put a lot of strain on that machine over time. It's one of the common questions we get asked for a chair that we have that might hold up to 265 pounds. What if I'm 280 pounds? Well, that's not going to work. It's going to wear the chair out, and it's going to void the warranty. So we take a look here, and the controls. Basically, this is a pretty basic joystick. You've got the speed up, the speed down. You've got the horn. You basically have the on and the off button. Or basically, this is the speed. Plus and minus is the speed. Then you've got the on button, the off button, the horn, and basically that's going to be your battery indicator. Lights typically will just disappear as the battery loses its power, and the device should probably go up to about 3.7 miles per hour. You can turn in any way that you want to, and of course this is either lifting it or setting back down or sitting back down. So the question is, would I be able to have the strength? If I don't really have a lot of finger strength, how would I be able to do this? Well, I'll tell a little story. Discover My Mobility. We're a dealer for Discover My Mobility, and the owner of Discover My Mobility, he was somebody that I've known for a very long time, since I've been a teenager, and basically had a little gig with carpet cleaning. He owned a carpet cleaning business. I worked there as a contractor. We became friends, and then 1996, he had a motorcycle accident and became a quadriplegic. So instead of stopping what he would do, he works. He works every day. He works probably harder than just about anybody that I know. And the way that he did it at first, because he can move his arms a bit, but he doesn't have dexterity in his fingers. So at first he had somebody tape chopsticks, one on each finger. So he was able to use one on each hand, total of 2 chopsticks, and he's able to use the computer keys and basically be on the computer. So if you're going to go that route and be concerned, there are options for prosthetics. And what he has, it actually just kind of slides over his thumb. It's like a loop like that, and it has kind of a bar, similar to what I'm showing you here. And he's able to use that to basically give himself more power, because he has enough strength in his arm to do things like push a button or to move something, but not in his fingers to work with the keyboard. So you've got a couple different options when it comes down to prosthetics. So I would say that would be one of the important things to do. If you have the arm strength to be able to do something, but you just don't have the finger strength, that is a great solution for handling a joystick like this. So let's continue to kind of go down the road here. It looks like we've got a couple videos, so we'll take a look how this video works. He's undoing the chair, and it seems like when you get the device, it appears that there's obviously some assembly required, so definitely be prepared for that. These devices, they usually make it pretty simple. They include everything, so we can see that he's putting it together, and after he gets everything together, we can kind of see how all the wires work here. We can see the battery slides on and slides off. You've got a power switch, and right on the joystick that controls the actuators. You can see the device. To me, I think it's actually a pretty impressive looking device, and I would just encourage somebody to be prepared for a bit of an assembly process actually getting the device. And there's a couple other small things that I'd probably be a little bit concerned about. Now, this is nice that the footrests flip up. That's, intuitive. Okay, so now we are looking at what it takes to flip the device around and make it a standing cage. We have a harness, and we have the ability, of course, that machine has the ability to hold up to 220 pounds. Okay, so I'm going to turn the music off here. So we're going to go ahead and watch a couple more videos about how this works. Now, right there, what he's doing, that would be a slight concern of mine. Around the chest would be fine, but just having the seatbelt in the groin area, you might want to find some sort of solution, put an extra pad there. It just depends on how much you're going to be using that. I don't know my feelings about these AI videos or the backgrounds. I mean, it looks like his legs are transparent there. But he's doing a great job demonstrating that he's taking some steps with the machine, and he's strapped in right here. He's showing you, so you can drive it as a wheelchair once you're strapped in, and then I'm pretty certain that what he's going to do. Well, it didn't show him transitioning from seated to standing, but you get the idea here. Now, of course, you've got physical therapy attachments and whatnot. And I don't know if there's going to be, there's another video. We'll go ahead and check this out. So this is just basically showing you, there we go, the transformation. Flip up the back switches and you get the batteries on. You can kind of see that this is pretty self-explanatory. Getting in the harness, strapping the harness in. That part right there, I would just really want to know how much cushion is there. So you can be in wheelchair mode. If you're using the prosthetic area on the thumb, you can kind of see how that works with standing. There might be an awkward moment where you kind of drop and the device is lifting. But you see it in action, and I think it's a nice touch that you've got the lights, indicator lights. So if you're out in a lower light environment, you're able to kind of work with this a little bit more. I really do believe that for the most part, people that would be using this device are probably going to need a little bit of assistance. So I would just keep that in mind. Now, about this item, there's a couple things that I would want to take a look at. One of the first things, it's basically where it ships from. Okay, so it looks like it's okay. So basically, it's sold by this company here. Now, with things on Amazon, a lot of people don't realize that Amazon uses a lot of third-party sellers, and I would really want to know about what this actual store is, what this store is like, what their return policies are, and most important, you get their shipping policy within 2 days of the order. Okay, but where does it ship from? That's something that I haven't been told about. I don't know if it ships directly from China. I don't know if it's stored in a warehouse in the States. And I don't know how easy it is to actually get in touch with the actual seller. So that would be a concern that I would have with something like this, because what if something breaks? What if something's not complete? It's, what if you have the device for 5 or 6 months and, one of the arms cracks or something along those lines, or a motor fails? All things that can happen, or even you get a cord stuck on a branch as you're moving and that, tears the cord, and, what are you able to replace that, or are you able, what's the situation? Now, I'll take a look at a couple other things here on this website. There's some small mistakes here. So I don't think that it's 7.5 pounds, and does say that it supports up to 220 pounds. So I've seen that twice. That's, usually for Amazon products, I like to look at things very carefully to see if there's any discrepancy itself in the product. I remember a few years back, we made a video that we posted on our YouTube channel of somebody who was selling devices that they used pictures of the Eagle Power Folding Wheelchair without the branding, which has the batteries that slide into the arms. They actually sent you a device with batteries that are kind of in the cage underneath the machine. So it was a bait and switch. We ordered because I knew it was a bait and switch. They were selling the product for a lot less than you could get the Eagle for. And, it's just something you kind of have to be a little bit careful of. So it tells you basically what the pictures told you. It does have the flat free tires. That's nice. And let's take a look here if there's any other things that they're saying about this. So they're just showing you a series of pictures of how this works. When you're standing and you have the harness on, that would be one of the things that you would be aware of is, you're going to have to be okay with maybe a few moments of awkwardness while you're transitioning from sitting to standing or vice versa. It's nice that you have this stuff as well. I would guess that a lot of the people that get this machine are going to be most interested in standing up and moving around, rather than doing exercises. But it's certainly a nice feature that you're able to do that, and it's equally nice that when you do want a wheelchair, you're going to be able to have a wheelchair. And with the battery that this device has, a little kind of insider tip is that if you can get another battery, so you have a second battery, you have always two batteries. If you're ever in a pinch, you just have another one, or if one just is toasted for whatever reason, you have a second battery. So that's nice. We basically see speeds up to 6 kilometers per hour, driving range I would say up to 20 miles, climbing gradient. Okay, so it's showing me all the device dimensions, and it's showing me a metric that's normal. I would say probably about 99% of all medical mobility devices that are portable are made in China. Sometimes people are dishonest about that. Oh, ours is made in the United States of America. Well, no, it's not. That's a lie. But so I think that the Chinese do an absolute wonderful job with medical mobility devices, and they're always very innovative with designing new devices, lighter devices, more robust devices. So the one thing that I don't know about this is, well, it was available about a little bit over a year ago from the time of this video. So I don't know what complaints or what problems people have had. I could tell you the things that I would think would probably fail. If something would fail, it would be those actuator arms right there. Those would be some of the first things to actually fail. And the motors, you should be pretty good with the motors. I would say it would probably be weather resistant, not weatherproof, meaning don't drive it through deep water. And I just don't know, unless I actually had one to feel, to hold. And I would be kind of at the upper end of the weight limit, but I wouldn't really know how I would feel about this. Like, could you really put a lot of pressure on the arms of this device when you're sitting in the device or getting out of the device? Those would be unknowns, but I love the actual concept of what this can do. So product details. Okay, we have 7.5 pounds again. I don't know why it was 7.5 pounds, because you can see that the product, if you're looking at it, I believe further up, it said that basically we were about 103 pounds, I believe. So that's, yeah, there we go. Total weight, 103 pounds. So, and is that with the harness or without the harness? I don't think it makes a huge difference, but the point is you're not going to be able just to pick this up and throw it in the trunk. And I think this is as folded as it gets. It doesn't fold down any lower than that. So transportability would be something that you'd probably want a van, and you'd probably want a ramp to get it in the van. And this is not the type of device that is designed to safely snap in a van for driving. So those are things that I would consider as well. And that's with any medical device, any medical mobility device. Some chairs snap in, they have the plate, they're designed to snap in, and that's just how they're built. It's the safety features. Anything that's lightweight or folding, that's not going to be the case. You can kind of see basically how this works. It's just you undo the straps, you swing these out, and basically you've got the indicator on the joystick. I don't know if we have if this is the same. Yeah, it looks like this is, no, this is, okay. He's actually just changing the mode here. Oh no, this is the same one we saw. Okay. So we'll continue to scroll, and I think that's probably really about it. So the takeaway that I would have with this particular device is, overall, I think it's a wonderful idea. And the things that would concern me about this device is basically you've got 30 days for a refund or a replacement, but I don't know where I would actually go to have anything basically repaired, or who would service the warranty, or what kind of warranty they have. That's something that I don't see, and it's a pretty substantial price tag to not know what the warranty circumstance is. So you would definitely have to do some digging. I would definitely want to know who this is sold by, and I would want to see if I could ask the seller a question. And most importantly, I would want to understand how quickly the seller is going to be able to follow up with you. It's okay that the seller's in China, but the main thing is how is the seller going to respond? Is the seller going to put a lot of different burdens on the buyer? Or if something goes wrong, or are they right there to send you another part? Because that's basically what it would be. It would be sending you a part, and then you'd be responsible for putting the part on. So overall, I think it's a brilliant device. There's a few things that I would just be a little bit curious about before I ordered. It's kind of expensive, so I would definitely want those questions to be answered to my satisfaction, my comfort level beforehand. And of course, if there is the dexterity issue in the fingers, I would look at something like, something that would slide over the thumb and give you the ability to use the strength of your arm to press the buttons. And I think that would resolve that issue. But I do really appreciate taking the time to look at this video, to watch this review. And for anybody who's watching, if there's any reviews that you would be interested in, any products, any mobility scooters, any chairs, please let us know. If you sell wheelchairs and want somebody to do a hands-on review of the wheelchair, we'll do that for you as well. Let us know, and I hope that this helps, and I wish everybody a wonderful day.